On behalf of Guruji, I welcome you all to our Bhagavad Gita class. If you are joining the class for the first time, make sure you post your questions in the chat. Guruji is already joined. We'll go ahead with the class. Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swaminiti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandegam Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunadan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Shri Visakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha Kalpatarvyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Chapatitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Isvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Hare Krishna. By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita every day. I welcome all the devotees who are joining for the first time today. And even though we are studying in the 9th chapter now, but I will be referring slokas from all the chapters, so that way you won't miss anything. So in this Bhagavad Gita, which is the king of knowledge, which is the most confidential knowledge, which is the purest and topmost knowledge. So Krishna is actually teaching us in such a way that we can perceive ourselves. Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam. So once we perceive ourselves, that means once we realize ourselves, that's what Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam. Pratyaksha. Once we are able to see that we are not the body, we are the soul, then we will be able to find happiness within ourselves. Susukam Kartu. So that is the way we will be able to get unlimited happiness. We will be able to enjoy unlimited happiness. Sukam Atyantikam. Yattat Buddhigrahi. So that Sukam, happiness. There is Akshayam Sukam Asnude. So Brahma Samsparsam. So that means we will be able to feel that we are Brahman. That's what is known as Brahma Samsparsam. In this way, Samsparsam Ja Bhoga. Yegi Samsparsa Ja Bhoga. This Samsparsa is actually when we are able to feel, when we are able to touch, when we are able to interact with this material sense objects in this material way. So this is here in this kind of attachment, this kind of associations in this material realm is going to bring us miseries. Dukkam, dukkha yone evade. It will bring us miseries. Whereas Brahma Samsparsam, when we are able to realize that we are not this body, we are Brahman, that means we are the soul. So that means it is going to bring us Sukham. So that's what Sukham is, the ultimate happiness we'll be able to enjoy within ourself. But if we are not able to get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then there is no Sukham. Nayam lokosti naparo nasukam. So nasukam. Samsayatmanaga. So for a doubtful person, there is no Sukham. There is no happiness. So that's what Krishna is saying, that for a doubtful person, not only in this world, wherever he goes, there won't be any happiness at all. Whereas for us, since we believe in Krishna, we believe in Bhagavad Gita, and we are studying Bhagavad Gita as a science, and we are understanding that we are not the body, we are the soul with this knowledge, with the science of Bhagavad Gita. Once we, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, once we are ready to actually serve Krishna, once we are ready to serve Krishna, we will automatically give up the attachments to this material world. So at that point of time, our mind will be very steady. So our mind will be very steady and we won't be disturbed at all. So because with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we are understanding very well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because that knowledge is very important. When we get that knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, without any confusion, without any doubt, with full scientific and philosophic understanding of this Bhagavad Gita, so then we will be able to every day, we will be very much motivated. We will be very much motivated to serve Krishna. In all our activities, we will be willing to serve Krishna. Because the inspiration comes from the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So in this material world, everybody is doing activities. Everybody, every day we see everyone goes to job, everyone go to do and their job and work and everything. And for what is where from the inspiration comes. So in general, people, they are attached to sense objects. So to achieve those sense objects, they are working hard. So we are working hard to make our life easy. We are working harder and harder to make our life easier and easier. But unfortunately, that's not happening. It won't happen in this material world if we are attached to material sense objects, because we will not have intelligence. So if we don't have intelligence, we think that by working harder, by earning more money, then our life will become easy. That's what we think. That's what we think, that our life will be very easy. If we just become a millionaire or billionaire, we will be very happy like that. But the reality is that we won't have any time to even to think about ourselves. We won't have any time to even enjoy, to be happy, because our mind will be all the time disturbed, all the time in the disturbed state, our mind. So now, only by getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, only by working for Krishna instead of working for ourselves, instead of every day going after sense objects and doing a lot of things, and instead of doing everything with material attachments, but if we do the same thing, but for Krishna, that is the main thing here. So that way, we are going to get a lot of happiness. We are going to enjoy. Because by serving Krishna, the real happiness comes. So the real happiness within ourselves, it comes only when we are able to connect with ourselves with Krishna. Because in this material world, whatever we get, nothing will be satisfying us. We won't be satisfied at any point of time. Because here we are trying to get everything because of our karma. Karma means it is a strong desire. Strong desire to enjoy the material sense objects. So Krishna is saying that this kama rupena kaunteya, it is duspurena analena cha. Duspurena means it is insatiable. You cannot satisfy. So that means if we think that let me finish this job, this material goal, let me achieve this. So then afterwards I will be fully happy. I don't have any more issues, any more problems. Like that we think. And once we finish that job, then there will be 10 jobs will be in line. Then because we won't be happy with what we achieved. Materially speaking, whatever we thought it's going to give us happiness, and we must have worked very hard to achieve that. And then after achieving that, so then we have to even prove more. We have to because we are not happy there. We are not happy with what we have. So then we think that, okay, let me get something else also. So there will be 10 jobs in the line. So our goals will increase, material goals and objectives. Especially when you go to job, there will be, every year there will be goal setting and goals and objectives we need to do. And any point of time, is the goals and objectives are the same? Everything, every year over year, you need to only see how much percentage in the profit, how much percentage we increase. That's what we look at it. So that means the amount of load or the amount of job, what we do in this world, it will never end until the time of the pralayantam upashitaga kamopa boga parama yetavatiti nishchitaga. So the demoniac persons in this world by ourselves attached to the material sense objects. So we'll keep on working and doing all the time, focusing on material sense objects. But really speaking, if we ask a question during this course of our life, are we happy? That is the main question. Are we really daily, everyday life, are we very happy? Are we very satisfied? Are we very happy and very satisfied with what we have? Or in our life, are we very happy? That's the main question to be asked. But the truth is that as long as we are focused on this material sense objects, as long as we are connecting ourselves with this material world, one can never be happy at all. Because Krishna says very clearly that when we are not able to connect ourselves with Krishna, that means when we are not able to regulate our daily activities, so that means we won't have intelligence, and we won't have steady mind, and we won't have peace of mind, and we will not have happiness. Without peace of mind, there is no happiness. So peace of mind is the source of happiness. So that real peace of mind comes when we do for Krishna, when we do all the activities for Krishna. Let us say all these things, whatever we are doing now, we are continuing doing. We are not stopping it, everything. That's what Krishna is asking us. Krishna is not asking us to ditch all the things what we do and just go to forest and live like a saint. Krishna is not saying like that. Krishna is asking us that don't get attached to the results. Do what you are doing. Don't get attached to the results. Because understand that those results, they don't belong to you. That's what Krishna is teaching us. Krishna is teaching us, we take it for granted. We think that, oh, I am working, I am getting, this belongs to mine. But Krishna is very clearly saying that you have a right to do that, right to perform your duty, but you don't have any right over the results because we are not getting those results. That's what we need to understand. We are not the cause for those results. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities. That's what Krishna is saying that. Ma karma pala heturbur. Ma karma pala heturbur means never think that you are the cause for the results of these activities. That means then how can we think that those results belong to us? That's where we are making the mistake. So that is what is known as ahankara. So due to ahankara, kripana palahetavaga. That's why Krishna is saying that. Krishna is saying that Durenahi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau saranam anvicha kripana palahetava. So with Durenahi avaram karma. So all abominable activities you keep at far distance. That's why Krishna is saying that Durenahi avaram karma. By acting with intelligence, buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga means we need to have intelligence. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Then with that intelligence you surrender unto me. Buddhau saranam anvicha. Those who seek the results, they are misers. Kripana palahetavaga. That's what Krishna is saying that. Kripana palahetavaga. Because all the results, actually they belong to Krishna. Anyone who in this world, we have not seen anyone who has actually owned everything, like all the things, business, there's so much of things. No one is here forever. Everybody is leaving everything and going. When they die, everything is gone. Then somebody else will come and say that this belongs to mine. And then after that person dies, then somebody else will come and say that this is mine. So that way we are committing the mistake that somebody who owned previously, somebody who thought that belonged to him, and now we think that belonged to us, which is going to be claimed by someone else in the future. So we need to realize and understand that fact that in this material world, we don't own anything. Materially speaking, we don't own anything. But only we own Krishna. Krishna is there with us. And everything is owned by Krishna. If we have that knowledge, we don't own anything, but we own Krishna. But Krishna owns everything. So that way, if we in this material world, if we act and if we get the results and if we actually use all those results in Krishna's service, so that way we are doing the right thing. We are doing the right thing. So for that we need this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Because with the Bhagavad Gita knowledge, what is going to happen? We want everybody to live. We want everybody to live peacefully. At least they should get their daily bread every day. Krishna has produced, Krishna has given all the resources, all the natural resources very much. And we are spoiling that. And because of our in this material world, because of the attachments and because of the so much of greediness, so we are seeing a big gap between the society. Like people are so rich and people are so poor that they don't even have their basic needs are met. At least the basic needs should be met, because all the results are they all want by Krishna only. That is the main thing. So those who consider themselves they are really great, they are very rich, they want so much, but actually they should understand that everything is owned by Krishna. So it's good to own everything, but we need to make sure that the society, the righteousness prevails in the society. That is the main thing. The dharma. Dharma is very important, because this Bhagavad Gita is the dharma. So this dharma, this Bhagavad Gita, everyone should know. So that's why our important job, every day we study, every day we emphasize that our important task is to make sure that this dharma, this Bhagavad Gita should be available to everyone to know. Because we are saving all those souls from this material ocean, this ocean of material miseries. Only when they get this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, only when they board the boat of knowledge, the jnana plavenaiva, they will be able to cross beyond the ocean of material miseries. We have got the opportunity. Now we have boarded. We have got into the boat. We have got into the boat of knowledge. So now we need to save everyone. So that way, it is Krishna's mercy. We have got this great opportunity to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is a science. It's a perfect science. It's full of science. Everything said in Bhagavad Gita is very much science and very much applicable to everyone, anywhere. So all the laws, the law of conservation of soul, we study and understand about the law of conservation of energy. Same thing. It's very easy to understand about the soul. When we are able to say, when we are able to bring up the laws, just with that law, the law of conservation of energy, we are able to now exploit the energy so much, just by understanding that knowledge. So how difficult it is for us to understand the law of conservation of soul? Did anybody see the energy? No. Are we able to see the energy? We say light energy, all such things, but we are able to feel the effect of that energy. So we are able to feel if there is a chemical energy in the chemical bonds. Are we seeing those bonds? No. But when we burn the gas, it burns and we are getting the heat and we are able to cook. So we are not seeing that energy. So similarly, we are not able to see the soul. The soul is always there. So the soul is neither birth nor death at any point of time. So that means the soul can neither be created nor be destroyed. That is very simple. The energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Similarly, the soul can neither be created nor be destroyed. How difficult it is to understand. And Krishna is teaching very clearly in Bhagavad Gita that we are the soul. We are not the body. We are the soul. And with this knowledge, once we realize that we are the soul, and when we do everything in that knowledge, that is the main thing. So now when we think that we are the body, then how we are acting in this world, because without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, when we think that we are the body, we are doing everything to satisfy the needs of our body. Unfortunately, we don't have any knowledge about the needs of our soul, what to do, how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of our soul. So to take care of our soul, we first of all need a very healthy body. But in this world, because we are so much attached to material sense objects, we think that we are trying to take care of the needs of our body. But unfortunately, everyone is stressed out so much. Everyone is forced to act so much. Especially in this world, in this today, in modern world, with so-called so much of advancement in technology, even if you go back 30, 40 years, when there was no computer, no internet, all such things, people were very happy. They were not forced to act. But here, every day we are committed so much. We have to do so many things. We cannot simply sit and take some rest, because the commitments in this world has increased so much. So that way, only with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we will be even able to take care of our body. What to speak about taking care of our soul? Because now with this material knowledge alone, no one is even able to take care of the body also. That is the fact. So obesity and all problems are coming, diabetes and blood pressure, everything. This is very easy to take care. There is no need to take medicine for this. It is just doing all the exercises, yoga, and taking care of the right food. As Krishna says that one should not eat too much, one should not eat too less, one should not sleep too much, one should not sleep too less. So if you are able to just take care of that, we are going to have a healthy body. Na atyasnatastu yogosti na chaikantam anasnataga na cha atiswapnasilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. One should not eat too much, one should not eat too less, one should not sleep too much, one should not sleep too less. But here, we don't have enough time, first of all, even to cook nice healthy food, because we are so much busy. Just eat packed food, eat storage food, and eat what is called, that is, you go and eat food every day. So that is a problem. What we are having, fast food. That's what I meant. We call it as fast food. In food, what is that fast food or slow food? We need to take nice food and make it healthy food and offer it to Krishna. And Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Yajnasista Sinagasanto Muchyante Sarva Kilbisai Bunjate Te Tu Agam Papa Ye Pachanti Atma Karanat. Food that is first offered to me as sacrifice and then taken frees one from all sinful reactions. But those who prepare food only to gratify their senses, they verily eat only sins. That's what Krishna is saying there. Bunjate te tu agam papa ye pachanti atma karana. So that way we need to take care of what we are eating every day, and which should be offered to Krishna. So that's what is very important. And similarly, sleeping. We have so many deadlines. We are dying so many days every day. In this world, all artificial deadlines they make, and every day you need to meet all those deadlines, and without working overnight you cannot even meet those deadlines. So that way our life has become so much stressful that we are not even able to take care of our body with this modern material knowledge. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving us the knowledge about ourself, the soul. So when we are working for Krishna, so then we won't be so much like Ugra Karma. This is known as Ugra Karma. Ugra Karma means we are doing like this. With this Ugra Karma should not be done. So we will be able to plan our daily life. When we have this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, then we will be able to plan everything. Because when we are doing it for Krishna, Krishna is saying that Yadrchalabha santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraga samaga siddhau asiddhau cha kritvapi nanibadhyate. So whatever gain we get on its own accord, yadrchalabha santushto, free from the dualities in this material world. Dvandvatito vimatsaraga, free from envy. Samaga siddhau asiddhau cha, being equal in both success and failure. Then when we work, we are not going to be bound. Kritvapi na nibadhyate. But without this knowledge, when we focus so much on this material world, when we do all our activities every day, not having any time, so we are binding ourselves so much into this material world. There is that bondage. We are getting ourselves entangled in this material world so much. So that means it's going to be very difficult for us to come out of that situation. But with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we can achieve even much more. We can achieve much more actually, because Krishna is going to give us the knowledge, and Krishna is going to do our duty, of course. That's very important here. Because Krishna will be serving us. Krishna is doing the duty. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. You think that you are going to kill all these people? I have already killed them. Dronam cha Bhismam cha Jayadradam cha Karnam tatanyanapi yoda viran maya ghatams tvam jahima vyatista yuddhasva chetasi rane sapatnan. They are all already killed by Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna and all other heroes. Everything, other warriors, everything they are killed by my arrangement. I have already killed them. You just shoot the arrows. So that way, when we start working for Krishna, actually Krishna will be doing our job. Krishna will give the results. So Krishna will take care of everything. So that's what is very important. So that knowledge we are getting it very clearly. So now in the 9th chapter, we finished 14 slokas in the 9th chapter. So in the 14th and 15th slokas, we finished in the 14 slokas in the 9th chapter, basically. So Krishna is talking about, like first Krishna informed about those who are like demons, who partake the nature of atheistic demons. They will surrender unto Mohinim Prakriti. Whereas Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Devim Prakriti Mashritaga. Bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. But the Mahatmas, the great souls, they surrender unto the Devim Prakriti, knowing that jnatva bhutadim avyayam, that I am the beginning of everything. So then in this sloka, what we studied yesterday in the 14th sloka, Satatam kirtayanto mam yadantascha dridavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. So always chanting my kirtans, always singing my kirtans. Chatatam kirtayanto mam, satatam kirtayanto mam. And yadantascha dridavratah, with great determination. So they endeavor. So yadandascha dhratavradaga namasyantascha mam bhaktya, they worship me with devotion, and nityayukta upasate. So they always worship me. So with devotion they always worship me. So then Krishna is also teaching here in the other kind of people, basically in the sloka number 15. Jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate ekatvena pratatvena bahuda visvato mukham. So others, just with the virtue of knowledge, so knowing that Krishna is coming in as a manifested person. Krishna himself comes directly, and Krishna also has got his impersonal nature. So with that knowledge, they will actually worship that Krishna as one without a second, ekatvena, and also Krishna as the one who is actually in duality, who is everywhere. So Krishna is everywhere, ekatvena, pratatvena. And with the Viswarupa, so that is Visvato Mukham. Visvato Mukham is Viswarupa. That is the universal form. So the God can be also worshipped without a form. So there are religions, they have no form for the God. So that is the way of worshipping God without having a form. Krishna has got both natures. We already studied in the 9th chapter itself. Already in the 4th, 5th slokas and all we studied. Krishna said that Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyaktam murtina Matsani sarvabhutani nachakam tesu avastita. So I pervade this entire universe in my unmanifested form, Jagat Avyakta Murtina. So Krishna, so then in the next sloka, Krishna said that Nachamatstani bhutani pasyame yogam aiswaram. Still I am still not everything in me. I am standing in front of you. So look at behold my mystic opulence. So that's what Krishna said. So that way, Krishna is actually the supreme personality of God. So we understand in Bhagavad Gita very well that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and we can worship him as a person, because that's what in the 12th chapter, first sloka, when Arjuna asks a question, Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paripasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesam ke yoga vittamam. So that also, see, Arjuna is very, very helpful for us. We should also be very thankful to Arjuna, because he asked such a very nice question that those who worship you all the time as a person, evam satata yuktaye, bhaktas means you are devotees, bhaktas tvam pariyupasade, those who always worship you, bhaktas tvam pariyupasade, ye chapi aksharam avyaktam. So, but those who worship them, aksharam unmanifested, avyaktam unmanifested, so inconceivable, unmanifested. So tesam ke yoga vittamagam, out of them, who is the best among them? Of course, Krishna said that Mayavesya mano ye mam nityayukta upasate sraddhayo parayo peto te me yukta tamo matah. But those who worship me as a person with faith, I consider him to be the most perfect. That's what Krishna is saying. That. But the other way of worshipping also is there. So that also Krishna talks about this, that worshipping Krishna as impersonal. But both are Krishna. That's what we need to understand. So by Krishna's costless mercy, we have successfully finished the 15th sloka in the 9th chapter today. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Guruji. We don't have any question, but Pushpavati has sent Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And Akshay has sent a number to add to the WhatsApp group. I'll ping you separately, Guruji, after some time.
Okay, so who sent the number from? Akshay, okay.
Akshay Chandramouli, I'll ping you, Guruji.
Okay, okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
And of course, we have many new devotees and regular devotees. I'll unmute some regular devotees first. Surajit.
Teaching tonight was very clear. I believe I understood it. I can always understand more, but it was very, very moving and inspirational to me for living my daily life better. And I thank you very much. I don't have any questions at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji. I see a new name, Kiran Pai.
Interesting. No question. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
I understand it well. And so thank you so much.
You are from which place you are?
Just a query I had is when you said that everything, all the results are, actually Krishna is responsible for the results, or we owe it to him. So when we do something negative, do we, say that Krishna has done it, or how do we go about that when somebody does something which is bad?
Actually, when we think that when we are attached to the results, we will have to pay for it, Mataji. That's the main thing. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita very clearly that we are also not doing any activities. So in the 5th chapter, Krishna is saying very clearly, na kartritvam, na karmani lokasya srajati prabhu. So we are not creating any duty, we are not creating any activity, and we are not doing any activity. We are not making anyone to do also any activity. That's why na kartritvam, na karmani lokasya srajati. Srajati means creating. Lokasya in this world, we are not even creating any activity. We are not even doing any activity. And na karma pala samyogam. Also, we are not creating the results also. That's what today also I mentioned during the class, correct? Even though I didn't quote this sloka, but in this sloka also Krishna is saying that na karma pala samyogam. We are not even creating the results of the activities. Right. Everything is done by swabhavam. Swabhavastu pravartade. So that swabhava is basically 3 modes of material nature. Swabhava, prabhavaigi, gunaigi. So that's what Krishna is saying, that swabhava, prabhavai, gunaigi. So the swabhava is created from the gunas, from the 3 modes of material nature. The swabhava. Everyone has got their own swabhava. So that swabhava only is doing everything. We are not doing anything. Because of our swabhava, we do like that, but we are not doing it. So that's why Krishna is saying that Nadate kasya chin papam nachaiva sukrutam vibhuhu ajnanena vrutam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. So Krishna is saying that I don't take any responsibility for anyone's good or bad deeds. Nadate kasyachin papam nachaiva sukrutam vibhu. Because their knowledge is covered by ignorance. Ajnane navrutam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaga. Because of that, they are bewildered. So because the reason that what knowledge we don't have the knowledge that results don't belong to us. We are not the doer. So once we have the knowledge that we are not the doer and we don't own the results belong to Krishna and we don't own it and we are not the doer. So that means we will not be attached to the results. Then we are freed. So that way we cannot say that Krishna is responsible for the results. Krishna is very clearly saying that I am not also responsible.
Okay.
So you understand that, Mataji?
Yes, a little bit. I mean, I'm just a beginner, so.
You need to understand about the 3 modes of material nature very well, Mataji. So then you will be able to understand. We are going to study every day. When you are able to listen daily, you will be able to slowly understand all those things.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
The mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, 3 modes of material nature, they are controlling us. That part, when you are able to understand, then you can understand this. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Today, Guruji, you taught us very nicely about the work, the karma we are doing, that should not be with the result oriented, not attached to the result. This is also told in another sloka, karmanye vadigarishya. Is it?
Yeah, that sloka only I was explaining today. Second chapter, 6th sloka. Yes, Prabhu. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadasana ma karma. Yeah, you are right. I was referring another sloka in the second chapter, but this also Krishna says. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadasana ma karma palaheturbu ma te sango swakarma.
So we should do our duty. Then result will be come as per the duty we are doing. That's the meaning.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Results are all, results belong to Krishna, Prabhu. We should not be bothered, disturbed by the results. Everything is owned by Krishna. Results will come and results are owned by Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am able to hear you very well, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Because I was a little difficult to operate now. The new thing to me. Anyhow,
Yeah, you told me yesterday. Yes, Prabhu.
you said about the three modes of a person. One is that sattvic and other is tamasic.
Yeah, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna.
Rajoguna, yes. That was I was forgetting. Now, whatever the duties that have to be performed, can it be all the time sattvic only, or it will be tamas and all that? It will change.
All the time for Krishna. So when we do it for Krishna, then we are not controlled by the modes of nature. So that's why we need to fully surrender unto Krishna and do everything for Krishna. That is the way to free ourselves from the three modes of material nature. Because Krishna says that, Mom, one who actually without any deviation. So bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati tetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So that's why mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati tetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So that is Bhakti Yogena Sevade. If you do devotional service unto Krishna, then we are freed from the gunas. So that is the way we need to get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, develop love towards Krishna, and do everything for Krishna. Then we are freed from the three modes of material nature. You understand that, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. I will unmute Shailaja. Shailaja, you can unmute and talk with Guruji now.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, I am able to hear you. Hare Krishna.
Right. Firstly, to the lady from Pune. Pune has been my hometown. So I just wanted to tell her where the Hare Krishna thing, ISKCON temple is. It is in MG Road.
She's there.
Yeah.
Kiran Pai Mataji, can you unmute yourself again? Can you unmute us?
Right.
Prabhu?
No, I think she can hear. So I'll just tell her where it is. So she can, I was there yeah. I was there many years. I mean, that is my hometown. It is at MG Road near Sardar, which I've been thinking of lately because of this COVID situation. There are so many things which we see, which are like really confusing. What is dharma? Say, for example, just one example, or maybe say two examples. One is of the police. Say, for example, the police. Earlier what we saw, when they would go around people, you'd say, okay, they're doing their jobs. But now I don't think they're not doing the right thing, in my opinion. And yes, they're not doing the right thing, because you cannot just, beat around people. They have a free will. So no, the point I'm trying to make is, what is dharma? When is it what your master is saying, the person who pays you, like they would have some job responsibilities for you, and they suddenly change it based on their personal greed or something, maybe a political party or something. So their job responsibilities have changed, and that's why they are behaving this way. This is one thing where the apparent role is good one, like a cop. He's supposed to be a good person. Now, same thing is, say for example, an ISIS recruit, right? Say a person is really jobless, but he doesn't have anything to eat. So does he go and join? See, morally, it is definitely not right? Because that organization is for wrongdoings and this and all. But considering that, okay, this karma, going by some teachings and manipulating what the things are taught, that okay, the karma will not be mine, etc., because I'm doing it for Krishna. If somebody does this, then manipulates this, then how does it work? I mean, what exactly is dharma? Is it something what your boss is saying? Because even in ISIS case, the boss will be saying, do this, and you are yourself, I mean, the person is working for, some kind of a job that they are doing. So whether it is something which is apparent to people, that is, it is a good job like a cop, or a bad job like a terrorist, but effectively they're both getting paid.
This dharma, the real meaning of dharma is this Bhagavad Gita is dharma. That's what we understand from Bhagavad Gita. Because for us, we go by Bhagavad Gita, everything, the answer comes from Bhagavad Gita only. So Krishna is saying that this Bhagavad Gita is dharma. Asraddha dana purusaga dharmasyasya parantapa. So those who have no faith on this dharma, that's what Krishna is saying, this is dharma. So idam jnanam upasritya mamasa dharmyam agata. So mamasa dharmyam. So Krishna is using that word dharmyam. So this knowledge, so this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, if anybody knows, then they will be able to follow dharma. So for that, you quoted one thing, depending upon the ruler, correct? The ruler, how he says, so the others will follow. That's what Krishna is also saying in Bhagavad Gita also very clearly. So very clearly, yadyadacharati srestaga tattate vetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokaka tadanuvartate. So whatever actions a great man performs by his exemplary acts, so the common men follow. So you perform to create examples for others. That's what Krishna is saying. And even in the past, Krishna is saying that evam parampara praptam imam raja rishiyo vidugu. So the Raja Rishi, Raja is king, Rishi is a saint. So Raja Rishi means saintly kings. So that's how the saintly kings understood this dharma. This Bhagavad Gita was coming through disciplic successor. So now, if we want actually this dharma to, that's a task for us. There is a service opportunity for us. So for us, actually, we need to actually, there are many devotees, they have not got the knowledge. If they get the knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita, then they will do right things in their life. That is the main thing. If they get the knowledge, there are many devotees are there. They are all waiting for this opportunity. When they don't have this knowledge, then they will go in the wrong direction. So we need to make sure this Bhagavad Gita is going to everyone. The opportunity for them to study is available to everyone. So that is the great opportunity for us to serve Krishna. For us, if we just do this task only, because this Bhagavad Gita is dharma, when we actually spread Krishna's message, then everywhere we will be able to find so many devotees. For example, right now, every day we are close to now 50 devotees are joining. And even our YouTube views are also increasing. Like yesterday's lecture was already viewed by 75, 80 devotees actually. So compared to previous weeks, it's constantly increasing. The number of devotees joining our WhatsApp group is increasing. So what it all shows is that there are many devotees who have still not got the opportunity to study Bhagavad Gita. We need to create that opportunity. We need to now team up. We need to brainstorm. We need to figure out how we can let the devotees everywhere know about this opportunity so that they can all join. See, now we are having so many devotees committed and joining and staying for a very long time and studying Bhagavad Gita, and even during the question answer session. It all shows that we are all enjoying this one. We are all getting so much happiness and we are all getting so much benefits by studying this Bhagavad Gita. So for us, for your question to establish dharma, this is an opportunity for us. Wherever Bhagavad Gita, so Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya is saying, the last sloka, 18th chapter, sloka number 78, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Danurdara, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruvo Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, certainly there will be extraordinary opulence, victory, morality, everything. That's what Sanjay is saying. So now there are so many Arjunas are there, but we have to identify them and we need to connect them with Krishna. That is the main thing. So then definitely the dharma will, the righteousness will prevail. So that's why this is an important service for us. We need to plan very well. So then we can make a lot of difference in the society. We can bring a lot of goodness to the society. You understand that, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. I will unmute Usha Rani Chandramouli. Usha Rani, you can talk with Guruji.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Namaskaram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I'm Usha Rani Chandramouli. சென்னையிலிருந்து பேசுறேன். I'm talking from Chennai.
Very nice.
எனக்கு ஒரு டவுட். இதுக்கு ஏதாவது ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன்ஸ் we have to follow food or time and ladies or the cycles?
Yeah, there is no restrictions to study Bhagavad Gita. There are no restrictions at all, Mataji. So here, that's why Krishna is saying that Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu. Sarvesu Kalesu means all the time. So that's why Krishna is saying all the time you do work for me. Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Ma Manusmarat. So to remember Krishna, it is only with our mind. With our mind, we are going to remember Krishna. So there is no restrictions. But regarding the food you ask, we have to definitely prepare nice food and food in the mode of goodness only, not in the mode of passion and ignorance. So that all such things we need to we understand from Bhagavad Gita. So we need to offer it to Krishna as prasadam and then honor it. All such things we need to do. And we need to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. All these things, when we do it very, very nicely, then by Krishna's mercy, then we will get full peace of mind and happiness, and we will be able to enjoy. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is very important, and there are no restrictions at all to remember Krishna, to study Bhagavad Gita. When we want to study Bhagavad Gita, we can study anytime. We should study all the time. And when we want to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we should chant all the time. So there are no restrictions at all. Hare Krishna Mataji. And if you are interested, I can add you into the Tamil WhatsApp group also. Every day, evening 6 p.m. I am teaching. So you can join there also, Mataji.
Thank you.
If you give your number, if you send me, tell me your number or text me your number, I can add you there. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Guruji. Usha Rani, if you can just type the number in the chat or tell here.
Yes, Guruji. I'm interested.
If you tell me, can you tell me your number, Mataji?
Guruji, in the Bhagavad Gita 4th and 5th, 6th chapter, Lord Sri Krishna explained about some yogam.
Yeah. With yogam, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, in yogam he even clearly explained how to do the yogam. Like I don't remember the complete.
No, that yogam Krishna is referring. Yogam means Krishna is referring to this Bhagavad Gita as yogam. In the 4th, 5th chapter, everywhere, when Krishna says yogam, it's not like what we call it as the yoga or the asanas, what we do. Krishna is referring this Bhagavad Gita as the yogam. So in the 4th chapter itself, first 3 slokas, continuously Krishna says yogam. So, imam vivasvate yogam, proktavan aham avyayam, vivasvan manave praga, manugu iksvakave abravit. So I gave this yogam, this knowledge to Vivasvan gave it to Manu gave it to Iksvaku. Evam parampara pratam imam rajarishya vidugu sakale neka magato yogo nastaga parantava. This yogam was received through a disciplic succession, or during the course of time the disciplic succession was broken. So sayevayam maya tedya yogaga proktaga puradanaga bhakto sime sakacheti ragasyam hetaduttamam. So that same yoga which I spoke in the past, so that same yoga I am giving you today. So that way Krishna is referring to that yogam yogam in the 4th, 5th, 6th chapters. They refer to this Bhagavad Gita only.
But Guruji, in some of the sloka, he clearly explained how to do the yogam also by sitting like in a sitting posture.
Yeah. In the 6th chapter, Krishna is teaching.
Shirogayam.
Yes.
It is like that is there. So how to do the yogam also is clearly explained.
That is correct. So yogam, that is controlling the mind. So that is also is yogam. So this whatever in this Bhagavad Gita, you are right. You are very much right. Because in the 6th chapter, we studied at length actually. So Krishna is saying that samam kaya siro grivam dharayan achalam stiraga samprekshya nasikagram swam disaschanavalokayan prasantatma vigatta vigi brahmachari vrate stitaga manasamyamya machitto yukta asita matparaga. There also Krishna is teaching about how to control the mind. So this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is the yoga, and following this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is called yoga. So the yoga is sometimes in the Karma Yoga, when he teaches Krishna, this is Karma Yogena Yoginam. So Sankhya Yoga Pratak Balaga. In the 5th chapter, Krishna says that Sankhya and Yoga. Sankhya Yoga Pratak Balaga Pravadanti na Pandidaga. Those who say that Sankhya and Yoga are different, they are not Pandita. So Sankhya is the Sannyasa Yoga. So because Arjuna asked the question, Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna Punar Yogam cha samsasi. So Punar Yogam. So that way, this Bhagavad Gita, when I said in the 4th chapter, Krishna is saying this Bhagavad Gita is Yogam, because Krishna is asking us to serve him, work without any attachment to the results. That's what the Bhagavad Gita is talking about. So that way, that is called Yogam. So then controlling the mind is also Yogam. So the real meaning of Yogam is actually being equal in both success and failure. That is the meaning of yoga. So siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So those who are equal in both success and failure, and such an equanimity is called yoga. So that is what is called yoga. You understand that, Prabhu? So that is the yoga. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
And also, so if you tell your name and where you are joining from, Prabhu.
He's unmuted.
Yeah, I think he's not able to unmute. I'll unmute Anand Jampanna. Anand, you can unmute and talk with Guruji.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
My question is how to strengthen one's soul. As you strengthen your body with food and exercise, is there any chance to strengthen soul? I just want to know whether there is any difference within the soul of mind during birth and my current situation.
Yes, Prabhu. The strengthening the soul is controlling our mind, Prabhu. Keeping the mind under our control. So that is called strength. I will just answer a little bit more. I think this Prabhu, you unmuted. So you are from which place, Prabhu? You are asking because your name is just showing as phone. So you are from which place, Prabhu? What's your name?
Hyderabad.
What's your name, Prabhu?
Hyderabad.
Okay. Oh, you are talking about Anand, Prabhu. Okay, Anand. Okay, you are from Hyderabad. I was asking about is the same thing which I was explaining to the other devotee just now. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in the Dhyana Yoga, so the 6th chapter is known as Dhyana Yoga. Krishna is teaching us about how to control our mind. So that is the exercise for the mind. So if we control our mind, then mind will be under the control of the soul. So that means that is the way to take care of our soul. That is the exercise. That is called mind exercise, Prabhu. So that is, go to a secluded place. Yogam yunjita sadatam atmanam ragasya stitaga. Yogi yunjita sadatam atmanam ragasya. Ragasya stitaga means a secluded place. And that should be a clean place. Suchaudese pradishtabhya sthiramasanam atmanaga. So you keep that place very clean and then sit straight. Samam kaya siro grivam. So that means our body, neck and head, all three should be in the same straight line. And look at the tip of the nose. Don't look at any other directions. So this is cha navalokaya. Then prasantatma vigattibhigi brahmachari vrate stitaka manasamyamya machitto yukta asita matparaya. Then you control your mind just by thinking about me. That's what Krishna is saying there. So that is the exercise we should do every day. Every day we should chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So when we are at that time we are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we should just focus our mind on that transcendental sound vibration. So when we say Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. At that time focus your mind on that sound vibration. So that is the exercise for the mind. That is the way to control our mind. You understand that, Prabhu? That way we can take care of our soul. What, Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Prabhu?
I think.
Yeah, understood, Prabhu.
Yes, you said you are from Hyderabad, correct, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That's very nice, Prabhu. Thanks for joining and join every day. Hare Krishna. Yes,
But it's so soothing to hear. Just
yes,
the voice that you gives that gives us a soothing, gives a soothing feeling. So
yes, Prabhu. Krishna's mercy. When we hear about Krishna, it makes our life very, very, very peaceful, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. You are right, Prabhu. Every day when we study Bhagavad Gita, it will be like that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru. I'll unmute you. You can talk to Guruji now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Guruji, it was a wonderful class, and by the questions asked by different devotees, we are getting the explanation of different verses of Bhagavad Gita. That is very, very beneficial.
Yes.
Particularly the three modes of nature that you have explained today, it is very significant.
Yes.
Incidentally, today I am traveling, and I have got a colleague with me who is also getting the benefit of your class.
Oh,
So-
very nice, very nice.
So I am
Prabhu.
just trying to introduce him,
Yes.
and you can talk to him, Mr. Churatia.
Is the time management, effective time management according to Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Mataji. Krishna himself is the time. So Krishna is saying
Yes.
that Aham Kalosmi. So you are talking about how to manage Krishna, correct? He says that Aham Kalosmi, I am the time. So that way, this is very, very important question, because this human life is very precious. This opportunity is very rare, and we have to effectively use all the time in serving Krishna. So that means we have to be constantly engaged in studying Bhagavad Gita and spreading Krishna's message. That should be our primary task. So that we should get ourselves very busy in doing that. So that means we should not have any free time. So there is nothing like that. We have some free time to do. If we have some time available, other than doing our daily work at office or whatever we are doing, we have to immediately start spreading Krishna's message, studying Bhagavad Gita, or listening to Bhagavad Gita, or sharing with, like introducing many devotees to our class. So this kind of service only we need to do. That way we will be constantly engaged. Of course, we need to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. And we need to prepare prasadam for Krishna and offer to Krishna. So all those things. But the effective time management is, for us, it is very much important that we need to focus on spreading this Bhagavad Gita to everywhere. So you are from Hyderabad, correct, Mataji? Yes, you are asking about that yoga, correct, Prabhu?
Yes, that's correct, Guruji.
Yeah, so Krishna is referring that controlling the mind, that process also as yoga. So Bhagavad Gita, the reason I said Bhagavad Gita is the yoga, because when you study Bhagavad Gita, you follow what Bhagavad Gita says. So in Bhagavad Gita, in the 4th chapter, Krishna is talking about this is yogam. This Bhagavad Gita is the yogam. Krishna is referring at that time when he says that it is yogam, this Bhagavad Gita. And in the 5th chapter, when Krishna is referring to the yoga, that is performing activity without expecting results. So doing everything. So that's what, one is sannyasam, another is karmana. Sannyasam karmanam. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna, then punar yogam cha samsasi. Arjuna is saying that you are asking me to renounce the activities, then you are asking me to perform the activities. So punar yogam cha. Yogam cha means you are not renouncing the activity, you are performing the activity. That's what is known as yoga. So that's why Krishna is saying that Sankhya Yoga Pratakbalaga Pravadanti na Pandita. Those who says that Sankhya and Yoga are different, they are not Pandita. So the real sannyasi is that Anasritaka Karma Palam Karyam Karma Karotyaga Sa Sannyasi cha Yogi cha Naniragnigi Nachakriyaka. Those who perform their activities without any attachment to the results, so they are also sannyasi and also yogi. So then in the 6th chapter, Krishna is referring to this yoga is this chanting Hare Krishna, this controlling our mind. So that is called yoga. So that is called yoga. So there Krishna is saying that asamyatat mano yogo dusprapa itime mati. So without controlling the mind, you cannot achieve the yoga. So the ultimate meaning of yoga is actually being equal in both success and failure, as Krishna explains in the 2nd chapter. In the 2nd chapter, Krishna is explaining that like siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So samatvam. So both being equal in both success and failure, that equanimity is called yoga. So that's what is going to happen when we control the mind. In the 6th chapter, what is Krishna is referring? That controlling the mind is yoga, because when we are able to control the mind, we will be equal in both success and failure. That's what it's meant by controlling the mind. So basically the yoga means connecting with God. Krishna is also saying that nasti buddhi ayuktasya nacha ayuktasya bhavana. So that way, when we are not connected with God, the yuktasya means connected, ayuktasya means not connected. Yuktasya means also regulating our activities. So yuktahara vigarasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkara. So there also Krishna is saying that word is called yoga. So that means when we are connected with Krishna, we will be able to regulate our activities. We will be able to regulate everything. Regulate our food, regulate our eating, regulate our sleeping. Yukta ahara, vigarasya, yukta chestasya. So yukta swapnavabodhasya, swapna, everything. So that is all called yoga only, Prabhu. So that is the real meaning of just the yoga, means connecting with God. The literal meaning in the Sanskrit meaning of yoga means linking with God, connecting with God. So that way we will achieve that status of equanimity, not affected by the results. You understand that, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Guruji. And Guruji, even he clearly explained that whomsoever has like yoga brashtas, means who started yogam, doing yogam, again they will have a rebirth. Something he explained clear in that chapter, the same 4th and 5th, 6th and chapters. Yoga brashtas.
Prabhu, this Bhagavad Gita is, that's what yoga, as I mentioned to you, this based on this Bhagavad Gita, we need to consider this Bhagavad Gita knowledge itself as yogam, Prabhu. As in the 4th chapter, we are in the 4th chapter as Krishna is referring. That is our main focus here. Our main focus is to understand this Bhagavad Gita fully, completely. That's what every day in our class, we just stick only to Bhagavad Gita. We don't deviate anywhere. All the time studying all the slokas from Bhagavad Gita. So that is what we need to do, Prabhu. So if we do that, then Krishna's mercy, we will be able to follow. So when we study and understand this Bhagavad Gita fully, means we need to follow exactly what Krishna says in all the slokas in Bhagavad Gita. So that is the main thing. So if we follow Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita completely, so then that means we are freed from the this material bondage, Prabhu. That's why Krishna is saying in the 14th chapter, 2nd sloka, idam jnanam upashitya mamasa dharmya magada. If anyone takes this shelter into this knowledge, will attain my nature. So that is the thing, Prabhu. So our goal should be studying Bhagavad Gita as it is and following everything what Krishna says. So then we will achieve that yoga. So that's why Krishna is saying that tapasvipyo diko yogi jnanibhyo pi matadikaga karmibhyascha diko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. So that be a yogi all the time. So be a yogi means what is Krishna is saying that yoginam api sarvesam matgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataka. So the yogi is actually, of all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesam, one who is keeping me within himself, madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam, who worships me with faith all the time. So tame yukta tamo mataka. Same, so I consider him to be the topmost yogi. So that's what Krishna is saying that too. So that way we need to get this knowledge Bhagavad Gita fully and study this Bhagavad Gita, understand this and spread this knowledge. So that is called yoga, this Bhagavad Gita itself. So then we will be able to serve Krishna, we will be able to worship Krishna. All those things are possible too. So that way this Bhagavad Gita itself, if we have this knowledge, we will be able to definitely surrender unto Krishna. We'll be able to do everything for Krishna. We'll be able to control our mind. Everything comes through. You understand that, Prabhu?
Thank you, Guruji.